Last time out in Tri-Cities, Tim Johnson went perfect again to storm back into the national high points consideration, while brother Matt Johnson had a rough night to slip further behind the U1 of Eddie Canfouche in the race for the national high points crown. Who can swing the advantage as we head into Seattle and the penultimate race of the season? Final heat coverage of the Montgomery Custom Boats Emerald Cup at Seafair is next. Hello everyone, my name is Daryl Kinsey Jr., the voice of the Saturday Night Hydroplane League, and welcome to Seattle, penultimate race of the season. Everyone jockeying for those last points to put themselves in a great position as we head to San Diego. But before we get there and before we get to any racing here, we first have to thank our sponsors. Rooster Tail Talk is the presenting sponsor of the Rooster Tail Talk Presents Saturday Night Hydroplane League. Join host David Newton on a weekly tour through the fastest sport on the water as Newton sits down with some of the personalities that make this sport great. For more information and to listen to past episodes, head on over to roostertailtalk.com. Montgomery Custom Boats, owned and operated by Craig Montgomery, has designed virtual and real-life hydroplanes since 2007. Son of legendary H1 Unlimited commentator Steve Montgomery, Craig's impeccable artistry has been seen on unlimited hydroplanes from the U1 Spirit of Qatar to the U1 Miss Home Street and others. For more information and to get your own custom boat, check out montgomerycustomboats.wordpress.com. A barn burner of a Division II season is going to come down to the final heat in San Diego after racing finished just 1 week ago in the Division II Emerald Cup. Here's how their final heat shook up in this edition of the D2 Update. And in the Division II Emerald Cup, it was Connor Harnack picking up the win in the Miss Alpine Stars. Harnack took the win after Pete Lacoste in the Fiesta Bowl and Casino Presents Go Bowling was assessed a 1-minute penalty for a lane infraction on the very first lap of the final, handing Harnack his very first Division II win. Behind him, our championship rivals Tyler Sams and Brian Ollinger finished second and third to make the title picture less than one heat as they head into San Diego next week in the San Diego Bay Fair, where one of the SMP Racing teammates will head to Division I as a champion. As we get ready for the MCB Emerald Cup at Seafair, there has been a development in who will take part in this final. Matt Johnson Design did qualify second on the day. He did pick up a win in Heat 2C, but a fourth and fifth in Heats 3C and 1B relegated him to the Connie, and Matt Johnson was unable to make it into the final as he finished second in the Connie. He will be the alternate for this final, and he will have to hope something goes wrong to one of the boats in the final before 1 minute. If that happens, Matt will be able to get on the water and at least get some points out of this final. If not, things are going to be condition critical as we head into San Diego. As far as that final is concerned, we will have 6 boats on the front line. 1 boat will be the trailer for a 7-boat field to decide the winner in the MCB Emerald Cup at Seafair. Officials, let's turn them loose. 7 unlimited hydroplanes come to life here in Seattle as the boats head out onto the water. Let's see how everyone got here this evening. Eddie Canfouche in the U1 Cheerios, our national high points leader, qualified 5th, won Heat 3C at a 2nd and a 4th to go with it. He's on 919 points. And next up is Mickey Washburn in the U9 Miss Duff Beer, qualified 12th, went 5th, 3rd, and 1st on the night to get into the final on 782 points. And DC Presents Def U75 DJ Miller got here on 1,170 points, qualified 3rd, won 2 of his 3 qualifying heats to make it into tonight's final. And the U12 Kelsey Best in the Miss Seattle Seahawks. Haven't seen this boat in a while, qualified 6th, went 4th, 2nd, and 2nd to make the final on 809 points. Ben Dowell in the U8 Wounded Warrior Project is next on 782 points, qualified 7th, but won Heat 1C and had a 3rd and 5th to get to tonight's final. And Quentin Miller in the Stu's Self-Service Garage did not have a good qualifying at all, qualified only 14th, but a 3rd and 1st and a 5th saw him to the final on 782 points. And Tim Johnson, our trailer for this evening, qualified 1st again, but a DNF in Heat 1B hamstrung his efforts. A 2nd and 3rd was all he could muster. He was able to get in as the trailer and will start 5 seconds behind the field. Now, as you can see them set up, Tim Johnson sitting up there about the middle of the exit of turn number 1. He basically is just going to wait for the 1 minute pin and then take off. Down on the left side of your picture, that is our front line. Kelsey Best is the highest forward, followed by Quentin Miller and Ben Dowell. DJ Miller is going to head around turn number 1 to try and get reset up while Mickey Washburn heads down the back stretch you see there in the upper left-hand corner. Now DJ Miller also heading down the back stretch by that famous log boom. It's been a while since we've seen a Miller take the win in Roast Your Tail Talks presents SNHL Division 1. Can DJ or Quentin do it this evening? As meanwhile, on your screen, as we're under 2 minutes, Eddie Canfouche and Ben Dowell have started creeping up there on Kelsey Best as they head around. That is Eddie that's going to head around. He'll try to get reset up as that boat comes on plane. Ben Dowell and Kelsey Best just going to chill out there as we're getting close to 40 seconds until the start of this heat. Quentin Miller heading down the back stretch. He's going to try to get a run around the outside at this point as we are 35 seconds to the 1 minute pin. He is heading around turn number 2. Meanwhile, DJ Miller has joined back up right before the turning buoy of turn number 1. So it's Miss Seattle Seahawks, Wounded Warrior Project, and the U75 DC Presents Def trolling the rest of the field. At this point, it looks like it'll be led by the U24. Actually, no, it'll be led by the U1. We'll have to try to get a run around the outside to get their lanes as we are now 7 seconds until the 1 minute pin. Here they come around turn number 1. They're going to have to negotiate this U50. The field splits them. It's a good score up, and the fight for lanes begins, and we have one boat streaking out in front of everyone, and that is the U24 of Quentin Miller. He's going to come all the way down to the commitment buoy, get lane number 1, and will push everyone to the outside. So it's Quentin in 1, Ben Dowell in 2, Eddie Canfouche in 3, Kelsey Best in 4, DJ Miller in 5, and if Mickey Washburn wants to win this race, he'll have to get it done from the outside. He's in lane number 6. Now we wait to get ready to scream down to down off turn number 2 towards the start finish line buoy. Want to hit that exit pin at about 12 seconds, and they do, and we have a beautiful field of 6 unlimited hydroplanes coming to the start as we are under 10 seconds. Ben Dowell will lead him to the line as we are at 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second mark, and it's a good start, and we're underway here in Seattle. 6 eliminated hydroplanes go screaming into turn number 1, and it's the U8 Wounded Warrior Project from lane number 2, leading the field into turn number 1. We'll see if they negotiate this turn. Okay, it looks like everyone is going to get out of it, but the U24 is right there on the hip of the U8 as they head down past the log flume for the first time. Ben Dow leads the way, though, in the U2, but here comes U24, all out of control, trying to chase down this U8 in lane number 1 as we head towards turn number 2 for the first time. Third currently is Kelsey Best in the Seattle Seahawks, and the U1 of Eddie Canfush is in 4th. Meanwhile, our leader side by side off turn number 2, deck to deck as the U24 sneaks out in front, but the U8 gets a much better run off the corner and is going to lead lap number 1. So Ben Dow leads the way in Wounded Warrior. Stu's Self-Service Garage is 2nd, and Miss Seahawks is 3rd as we head into turn number 1 for the 2nd time this evening. We'll try to get a look at where that U24 is, and there he is right next to the U8. He can reach out and touch him as they head down the back stretch. The U8 gets a big hop, another hop, but holds on to it. U24 going to have a much better run down this back stretch. Both boats all out of control as they head to turn number 2. The U24 settles it down. Going to have an easier corner here. Then the U8, as Ben Dow does leave room. He's got to do that. They're deck to deck off turn number 2 and heading towards the start finish line buoy. The U24 sneaks out for just a little bit, but Ben Dow has a much better run off the corner, much better arc, and he will lead lap number 3 in Wounded Warrior with Stu Self-Service Garage and Miss Seahawks 2nd and 3rd. But into turn 1 once again, the U24 almost gets into Ben Dow, but holds on to it, and the U24 is going to take the lead. That inside line playing dividends, but the U8 again showing the power around the outside, and now Ben Dow is going to stretch the lead by a 1/3 of a rooster tail. Ben gets the right spots and off the water, somehow holds on to it. As they head into the corner, it's a 1/3 of a rooster tail between the U8 and the U24, but look at how Quentin Miller just picks up in these corners. Exits the turn. He's going to take the lead again, but can he make it stick? The U8 has already shown it's got a lot of speed there on that outside, and here comes Ben Dow again. He's closing in on the U24 as we start the championship laps. Lap number 4 is up on the board, and Stu's Self-Service Garage leads the way with Wounded Warrior in 2nd and Miss Seahawks in 3rd. And look at Quentin Miller there on the inside. He's finally stretching the lead. The U50 has gone over at some point. Not a good run for Tim Johnson. He'll DNF. But meanwhile, up front, Quentin Miller pulls away to over a rooster tail advantage over the U8 as he heads towards turn number 2. As we said at the top, it's been over a year since a Miller has won a race in Rooster Tail Talks presents SNHL Division 1. Quentin Miller, who's been on a part-time schedule this year, might be the one to break that losing streak as we start the final lap with Stu's Self-Service Garage leading the way. Wounded Warrior Project in 2nd, and Miss Seahawks is in 3rd. As you get a look at the field now streaking down towards turn number 1, the U75 DC presents Deft is in 4th. 5th is actually it's a battle for 5th going on now between the U1 and the Miss Duff Beer as they head toward into turn number 1. This is not where we expected to see Eddie Canfush at all, as he's jumped to the inside to try and get a position on Mickey Washburn as they exit turn number 1 and head down the backstretch. We will head back now to our leaders, and Quentin Miller in Stu's Self-Service Garage has a rooster tail lead into turn number 1. It was tight there with Ben Dow for most of the event, but lane 1 wins out in the end as they head off turn number 2, heading towards the checkered flag, and it's going to be Quentin Miller in Stu's Self-Service Garage picking up the win in the MCB Emerald Cup at Seafair. 2nd going to be the Wounded Warrior. 3rd will be Miss Seahawks. 4th is going to be DC presents Deft. Good run for DJ Miller as he comes across the start-finish line. Who's going to get 5th? It's going to be Miss Duff Beer, and for Eddie Canfush, well, he'll hold on to the National High Points lead, but that's a disappointing 6th for our championship leader. Here is how the race ended. We had 1 DNF to Miss Tri-Cities, no penalties on the board. Stu's Self-Service Garage takes the win from Wounded Warrior Project. Miss Seahawks DC presents Stuffed Miss Stuff Beer and Cheerios. So as the boats come back into the port, we will take a look at our national high point standings. It's going to be 917 between Eddie Canfouche and Matt Johnson as we head into San Diego. DJ Miller, Tim Johnson, 1,434 and 1,513 behind. They are not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. And at the bottom of the screen, you see your relegation watch and your promotion watch. Cody Gwill has been relegated to Division 2. Of course, he did not make a start this season. Meanwhile, on the other side, Miss Knott's Energy and Miss Presley May in Division 2 have locked in to Division 1 with their runs earlier in the D2 race here at Seattle. So Quentin Miller picks up the win here in Seattle. Let's talk to him. Quentin, we weren't even supposed to see you this evening, but we're glad you are, and you pick up a final heat victory here in Seattle.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I get for, or kind of cool for bowling bad last weekend and not bowling in Portland this weekend like I wanted to be. So got to come race with these guys, and it's cool to get another win here on Hydrosim, my first ever one at Seattle, which is my home course. So got to thank Matt Johnson for spotting for me in the final there, and happy birthday to him. Thanks, Ben. That was a great race with my buddy Ben. We usually spot for each other all night, and it was cool locking up in the final. And yeah, it's my home course, and I went to do a little victory lap around Mercer Island, went and parked it at my buddy's house. So it was a good night.
So now we're going into San Diego. You are now solidly within D1 going in the next season. 9th place, but you still got an all-star race spot up for grabs coming up next week. Do you go out there and go for it, or you just be content with staying in D1 for another year?
We go for the win, Daryl. Every time. I think my final heat percentage is around 50% right now when I'm actually in the final, so it's always go for broke. So yeah, we're just going to go try to win another race, and then the all-star race would be a cool bonus. So again, got to thank Stu's Self-Service Garage for sponsoring, and thank you for the commentary and everybody coming out tonight. It was a good time.
Thank you so much. Good luck in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, Dale.
That'll do it from Seattle, and next time out will be the final round of the season. March 26, 2022 in San Diego, California, we will crown a National High Points champion, and the Rooster Tail Talks presents SNHL Division 1 in the SNHL World Championship. Join us on UHL Hydroplanes starting at 7 p.m. for live coverage as we decide a champion and who gets relegated to SNHL Division 2. Well, that'll wrap it up for here in Seattle. My name is Daryl Kinsey Jr., the voice of the Saturday Night Hydroplane League. Thank you for watching this presentation. We will catch you next time in San Diego to wrap up the season.